So, chaos broke out outside of Miami.
Last night, at a club in Miami, Terence Crawford and Gervonta Tank Davis got into it big time. We're talking punches thrown, families insulted, and careers hanging in the balance. According to eyewitnesses I spoke to, it all started when Davis took things way too far, throwing some serious shade at Crawford and his family. And if that wasn't enough, he also clowned Crawford for chasing a fight with Canelo Alvarez. This beef has been brewing for months, but last night it exploded in the most shocking way possible. Let me break it down for you. Set the scene. It was a typical wild night in Miami, with celebrities and sports stars packing the hottest club. Gervonta Davis, both looking to let loose after their recent fights. The two boxing stars were in separate sections at first, but as the night went on, their paths inevitably crossed. According to eyewitnesses I interviewed, things took a turn when Davis approached Crawford, clearly in a confrontational mood. What started as playful banter quickly escalated when Davis started hurling personal insults at Crawford, targeting not just him, but his family too. Now, Crawford, known for keeping his cool, tried to brush it off at first, I'm told. But when Davis started clapping back about Crawford's pursuit of a fight with Canelo Alvarez, the atmosphere turned toxic. One source close to the situation told me Davis laughed at Crawford and said, "Canelo doesn't even care about you, man. You're just chasing a fight for a payday." That's when things really started to boil over. In a split second, Crawford snapped. According to multiple witnesses I spoke with, he lunged at Davis, throwing a punch that caught everyone off guard. Security rushed in to separate the two, but the scene had already descended into total chaos. People were screaming, cameras were flashing, and the club was in complete disarray. It was a moment that will be remembered for a long time, and not in a good way. If you've been keeping up with the boxing world, you know this flashpoint didn't come out of nowhere. The tension between Crawford and Davis has been simmering for months, fueled by a series of social media jabs and interviews, as I've reported before.
Of a fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and two gonna know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
And when do you want to get out next? I know you're here in London tonight. When are you going to be in a camp?
Huh?
When are you going to be in a camp? I know you're
in camp, training camp in March.
Okay, so
at the beginning of the middle of the February or March.
Let me take you back to where this all started. According to my sources, it all began when Crawford threw shade at Davis for not being invited to Turkey Alalshikh's exclusive ring awards bash in London, a dig that clearly didn't sit well with Davis. Davis, never one to hold back, responded by accusing Crawford of chasing paychecks instead of greatness, especially with his controversial move to challenge Canelo Alvarez. I've been following this feud closely, and trust me, it's been building for a while. The insults flew back and forth, each one more cutting than the last, based on what I've gathered from those close to both camps. This beef has been headline material for a while, but no one expected it to escalate to physical violence until now. As one insider put it to me, we've seen trash talk before, but this was different. The Canelo Alvarez drama is what Davis used to clown Crawford, and I've confirmed this from multiple sources. Crawford's decision to move up to 168 pounds and challenge Canelo for his unified super middleweight titles has been met with mixed reactions, to say the least. I've spoken to analysts on both sides of this debate. Interview 7. On one hand, some experts I interviewed
Why are you retiring?
What changed? What made this
Trash, garbage.
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
Gervonta, something should have happened during the time, because when we saw you when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything? Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford and Leonard Edelby usually they're around to?
You think you might be gaining love for it though? You never know. Like say you got a squad today.
On one hand, some experts I interviewed see it as a bold move, a chance for Crawford to cement his legacy by taking on one of the sport's biggest names. On the other hand, critics I've spoken to argue that Crawford is just chasing a payday with little chance of actually beating Canelo. It's a divide that's been growing louder by the day.
Crawford, just won his debut at 154. Said if the money's right, we'll fight. Everybody wants that fight. What do you feel about that matchup? People saying the weight, all this stuff. How do you feel about that?
You know, everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And, you know, like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2, 3 weights plus less than me. But if the money is right, why not? Right? Why not? But look, I'm focused 100% on Berlanga. I know I have a challenge in front. I never overlook any fighter. So I'm focused 100% in this, and then we...
Crawford was with Turkey Alalshikh at the other event across town. Put out an open challenge to you on the internet with Turkey Alalshikh calling you out. What's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
Not coming.
The truth is the Crawford-Canelo fight has been labeled by many, including several boxing insiders I've talked to, as a circus match orchestrated more for entertainment than sporting value. That's the narrative that Davis has been clinging to, and it's clearly gotten under Crawford's skin.
In the camp that would say, you're not ready for this.
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh, man, you'll whoop his ass.
Like, yes, man type stuff.
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Magdalene.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stones. It's about
boxing. And according to those close to Crawford, that's exactly what pushed him over the edge last night.
You'll talk about the punch resistance. What do you think it takes to Seston, man?
We'll see. We'll see.
Could he get it in the future?
Too little.
I mean, you came up from 35, right?
He ain't fighting no
No real guys at 47.
See. What about everyone's talking about arrow fighting the winner of Canelo and Jermell. Could you ever do that? Is that too much weight or
What, 168?
Social media went absolutely wild after the news of the Tank stirring the pot to stay in the headlines as he nears retirement. And let's be real, Davis is not just...
Terence Crawford wants to fight Canelo. Yeah. Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford could match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And Davis isn't just stopping with Crawford. Word on the street, and I've confirmed this with sources close to the negotiations, is that he's in talk for a massive rematch with Ryan Garcia. We're talking a jaw-dropping $150 million deal backed by none other than Turkey Alalshikh, the same guy who's been bankrolling some of boxing's biggest spectacles. I've been digging into this, and the numbers are staggering.
Is that career-defining? Is this a legacy fight for you?
Well, when I got shot, for me to change my life the way that I did and stop hanging out with the guys that I hung out with, my career started going up. And yes, this is a legacy fight for me. This is a mega fight. This is a superstar fight. This is all those in one with me and Errol Spence Jr. A lot of people, they writing me off because they say, oh, well, he's too small, or he haven't fought nobody like Errol Spence, or his resume is this, or his resume that. There's a lot of things that a lot of people can say, but on July 29th, all the answers to everybody's questions will be answered.
Turkey's involvement, according to industry insiders I've interviewed, isn't just about the money. It's about bringing that big show energy to every fight he touches. He's the mastermind behind these crossover bouts and super fights. And he's got his hands in both Crawford's and Davis's latest moves. One promoter told me, Turkey is changing the game completely.
What changed? What made this shit trash, garbage?
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
Gervonta, something should have happened during the time, because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything? Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Edelby? Usually they're around to.
You think you might be gaining love for it though? You never know. Like say you got a spark today.
Fans are buzzing about how Turkey's influence is shaping the sport, and I've heard this from everyone I've talked to at recent events. He's making every fight feel like a blockbuster event. Whether it's Crawford chasing Canelo or Tank heating up his rivalries, it's all part of a grander scheme to dominate the headlines and keep fans glued to their screens. And with Davis looking to go out with a bang, you can bet, based on what I'm hearing, that we're in for some serious fireworks before he hangs up the gloves.
If they're not on some host, I text that ass again. Tell them boys to give me 150 M's. I'm coming. You know what I mean? When I start screaming out that, yeah, and that, stop it, knock it off, cuz. Stop it. Tell them send that bag, and I'm coming. And I'm,
So what does this mean for Crawford and Davis moving forward? For Crawford, this incident could have serious consequences, and I've spoken to several promoters who are concerned. He's got a monumental fight against Canelo lined up, and this kind of offering drama is the last thing he needs. Promoters and sponsors won't be thrilled about their fighter making headlines for street brawls. And as one source close to his camp told me, it could jeopardize the fight altogether.
Canelo, Johnny Boy Boxing, fight hype. I just want to ask you, what do you think about Terence Crawford? What do we think about Terence Crawford's performance, and do you want to get a fight with him?
If the money is right, I mean,
$100 million. I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
150.
150?
Davis, on the other hand, has been hinting at retirement for a while now. And according to people in his inner circle, this incident might push him closer to hanging up his gloves. He's got one more fight lined up against Lamont Roach at the Barclays Center, and talks of a potential blockbuster rematch with Ryan Garcia are heating up. But this brawl could cast a shadow over his final moments in the sport, as one analyst pointed out to me.
It's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo has, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean?
Public opinion is already weighing in heavily, based on the comments and polls I've been tracking. It's a messy situation, and the repercussions could be significant for both fighters. I've reached out to both camps for comment, and so far, it's been radio silence.
I want to do therapy, right? But I feel as though if I do therapy, it will lose the fire that I have inside me. I want everything out of me where so I don't never think about fighting again. I don't think about even getting angry, you know what I mean? Because I have 2 girls, 2 daughters. I'm wanting to be much softer, you know what I mean? Be more humble and things like that.
So with all this drama, the big question everyone's asking me is, could this lead to an official fight between Crawford and Davis? The weight difference between them is significant. Crawford is a welterweight moving up to super welterweight, while Davis has dominated the lightweight division. But as several boxing veterans have told me, in boxing, stranger things have happened. And with Davis teasing retirement, anything is possible.
They talking, but you know how it's gonna get. 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 But you know how it's gonna get. A real machine. You know how it's gonna get. A real one. And I promise you, you better lead them home. You better lead the females home. On my mother, you better lead the females home and the kids. On my mother. Yeah. Now watch this. Now watch.
They gonna be
now
there.
watch. Now watch.
What's different from 10 minutes ago?
You know how when they told you say how like I posed for Lomachenko, right? Mm-hmm. And like how he said like he was retiring and things like that. I feel as though like we've been in it so long that we are getting tired of it. Like we've been beating our body up so long, but it be like situations like just now, like where he talking that spark the plug again.
Yeah, that's what
Is that all it takes for you? Is that all it takes? Just a little comment?
Nah, but that's what I want though. I don't want you to fight me like you saying you're going out.
It always go like this. Always go like this.
Nah, what I'm saying, you just said you feel like you going out.
They go to sleep.
I don't want you to feel like you going out.
Both fighters could face fines or suspensions from boxing commissions, and the court of public opinion is already weighing in heavily. It's a messy situation, and the repercussions could be significant for both men.
And saying that he wants you, things like that. Does that stuff just sound crazy, or just like I'm supposed to be called out?
When you look at all the great fighters, they was getting called out by everybody from different weight classes. So it's nothing, that I'm not surprised about.
But Tank would be something that he said he'll touch your chin and.
Man, everybody say what they'll do, but Tank is in his weight class for a reason, and I don't see him come up to 147 face me no time.
Teasing retirement. Anything is possible. Interview 19. If these two decided to settle their beef in the ring, it would be one of the most talked about fights in recent history, and fans would be glued to their screens, according to everyone I've spoken to. While there are logistical challenges to making this fight happen, the demand is definitely there. So where do we go from here? Will Crawford and Davis face consequences for their actions? Could this altercation lead to a sanctioned fight between the two? And how will this impact their careers and legacies moving forward? There are still many unanswered questions, and the boxing world is eagerly waiting for more updates. One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. Whether it's in the ring or on the streets, Crawford and Davis have unfinished business. I'll be keeping a close eye on what happens next, so stay tuned for all the latest updates. What do you think about this wild incident? Are you Team Crawford or Team Davis? Do you think this beef will lead to an official fight? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification